Hey guys, well, I didn't think I was gonna do a video about this, but fuck it. I just saw this movie and it gave me fucking nightmares. Home Sweet Home Alone is a Disney produced remake slash reboot slash reimagining of the classic 1990s holiday film Home Alone. It's also Home Alone number 6? The fuck? They made 6 of these? I gave up when the third one was a shameless cash grab. Where the fuck did 4 and 5 come from? Now, the original Home Alone came out when I was a kid, and I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did think it was a clever, explanation of how to defend yourself against robbers if you're a kid. Long story short, just go full MacGyver and build death traps. Home Alone 2 was somehow just as good, even though it was the same bullshit in New York. Alright, since we're officially 30 years out from the first Home Alone movie, we've had enough time for people to get really meta and nostalgic and weird about what they expect in a Home Alone movie. Now, I wasn't planning on watching this movie, but word of mouth online was that it was one of the better Home Alone sequels, pretty much the first good Home Alone sequel since the second one. And it starred cutie Ellie Kemper from The Office. Remember her? She played Erin, Pam's replacement. Oh yes, TV's middle-aged sweetheart is the star of this movie, and to make matters incredibly confusing, her character in this movie is named Pam. For real? I have to really lay down that as someone who watched The Office once, this mentally exhausted me. It would be like if Jerry Seinfeld made a brand new movie where his character was named Kramer, and everyone kept looking at Jerry Seinfeld and being like, "Hey Kramer, what's up?" That just blew a fucking circuit in my brain. Anyway, I like Ellie Kemper enough, so I was like, what the fuck, sure, I'll watch it. So, this movie ended up being a very, very weird deconstruction of the Home Alone franchise format. A lot of people online had wanted them to do a grim and gritty horror movie reboot of Home Alone where, you have old drug-addicted Macaulay Culkin building death traps one last time to kill off Joe Pesci and finish what he started. But since none of the original actors would agree to do that, instead we got this movie, which is pretty much a weird, kid-friendly version of that, while at the same time inverting the original Home Alone formula. See, in this movie, the kid who's home alone is also the robber, and by extension, a psychopath. See, Home Sweet Home Alone stars Archie Yates, formerly the sweetest kid in old Great Britain, remarkably still rocking his extremely British accent in an American film, because if you have a British accent in an American film, you're the villain. Now, previously I'd seen this kid in Jojo Rabbit, and he was a sweet little good boy, but here he's a British bastard from hell, and they also fattened him up a good deal to make him look meaner. Anyway, his character is this weird, cross-dressing, psychopathic 12-year-old. He's basically playing Stewie from Family Guy, in every possible way of personality. He ends up getting left home alone because he has extremely wealthy, jet-setting British international parents who, even though they're British, they work in Japan and they live in America. And they have a shit ton of kids, and they have so many airplane tickets that they can't fit all the kids on the same airplane, and then they have some weird mix-up where both of the parents get on different planes, and they think that the opposite parent has the kid, but actually neither of them have the kid. So that was very, very convoluted, but I accept that as a believable explanation for how this kid left home alone. And then on the other side of the city is sweet old Ellie Kemper and her unemployed idiot husband. I'm gonna call him Homer Frankenstein. I don't remember his name, I don't recognize this actor, but they call him Frankenstein in the movie a bunch of times, and he's essentially doing a bad impression of Homer Simpson, so yeah, Homer Frankenstein, that's his name. Anyway, because the husband is an unemployed idiot, they're about to lose their house, and they're going to sell it to Keaton Thompson, who shows up as a shockingly skinny real estate agent. He gets a couple of good jokes in, and it's a fun cameo. But anyway, when things are looking the absolute darkest for this family, a strange and convoluted miracle happens that they discover in the attic of their stupid old house. They have this creepy old doll that's somehow worth $200,000, and if they can just sell this dumb doll, they won't lose their damn house this time. But literally at the same time, since they're being forced to sell their house, they have an open house, and just for whatever unethical reason, the incredibly rich evil British boy and his incredibly rich ridiculous mom attend it, possibly just to mooch a free lunch or something like that. There's no way they would ever buy this house except maybe to tear it down, because they live in a mansion that's 5 times the size of it. Anyway, long story short, the $200,000 doll goes missing after they visit, And so the stupid main characters assume that the malicious evil British boy with the accent stole it because he was asking all kinds of suspicious questions about it. Now, at the same time, Homer's creepy rich brother and his dumb Chinese wife come to visit, and when the Chinese wife is unveiled, they make one of the most racist Asian visual jokes that I have seen in over 40 years. I actually gasped that this movie would go that low. It's so cringe and awkward, but they actually make fun of the fact that Chinese women have small, unfunctional feet, and that when she's wearing high heels, she can't walk in the snow. And I'm just sitting here being absolutely shocked, like, what the fuck? What World War II Japsploitation racism did this bullshit crawl out of? I was so horrifically offended by this, I actually had to look it up on my phone, that the Chinese government has banned foot binding of women since 1912. And by all accounts, the last known Chinese women who were living with foot binding died in the early 1990s. So fuck you, you racist movie. You're doing a racist joke making fun of a Chinese actress for things Chinese people have not done in 100 years. This is the biggest racist joke in the movie, but still, I'm shocked you would make a fucking racist joke about shit Asians haven't done in over a century. There's also a lot of German jokes because the kid is using a broken German Alexa to pretend to be his grandmother and the stupid couple falls for it, but at least those are kind of tasteful. Anyway, so because the stupid couple thinks that their $200,000 doll is with this kid and the only way they can keep their house is if they get it back, they try to get the doll back from him, but then a bunch of misunderstandings happen, and they try to like explain what they're going to do, but he overhears it and he misunderstands it, so he thinks that they're like white slavers come to kidnap him. So he ends up booby-trapping his house with a full 2020 Home Alone death gauntlet. He's also iced up the entire street leading up to his house, which causes the main characters to crash their car, and presumably it would have caused all his neighbors and literally anyone else driving on that street to crash their cars too. So this kid's just all kinds of murdery. Anyway, I end up feeling bad for the couple going through the murder gauntlet because literally this movie is just so bad. It's not triumphant when Macaulay Culkin, smashed a brick into Joe Pesci's head. It's just sad. It's this fucking psycho killer kid lighting poor sweet Ellie Kemper on fire, and I'm like, oh, Ellie, you're on fire. On top of that, since this poor family is so poor, the dad has no job, that means he has no health insurance. And that's just extra depressing. How are these people gonna, foot the medical bills? I mean, at least Joe Pesci got, prison health care. Now, as they continue going through this little kid's murder gauntlet, the characters start getting stupider and stupider, and eventually, my, ability to, believe the movie, checks out. It eventually gets too stupid to believe. One thing that really, really pissed me off is at one point, the kid ambushes Homer Frankenstein and just puts a VR headset on his head, and this confuses the shit out of him. He thinks he's suddenly in the Grand Canyon. And, this dude has never seen VR before, and on top of that, he's too dumb to realize he's wearing a VR helmet on his head. Considering he's supposed to be an out-of-work computer guy, he should know that VR exists in 2020. He doesn't know the straps on the head. He doesn't know the weight of the helmet. Get the fuck out of here, you racist piece of crap movie. Anyway, so in the end, after getting through the death gauntlet, the three of them have a sit-down, sensible talk about what the fuck is actually going on, and they realize that this is all a massive, insane misunderstanding because two adults and a sociopathic child couldn't just have a normal conversation. So in the end, the poor parents let the evil rich kid come and stay with them until his real mom comes back from Japan, and then they all become friends because this is a sappy Disney movie and there's a shoot-in happy ending. Anyway, this movie was really, really badly executed, but I did think the concept was clever. I thought it was an interesting twist that they warped the concept of Home Alone from a nice kid legitimately defending himself against two asshole burglars to an evil kid trying to kill a mom and a dad. Now, they weren't his mom and dad, but there was still the family implication there that the kid is trying to kill the parents. I don't know, this movie also had this bad, class warfare vibe going on to it too, since the family was poor and they were trying to defend themselves against this murderous rich kid who had this really robust budget. Like, at one point, he just, like, keeps, like, dropping Mentos soda bombs on them, and, like, Ellie's like, where are you buying all these sodas? And he's like, I'm buying them in bulk, ha ha ha. Like, I don't know, even though this movie was stupid and racist, it at least tried to do something different with the concept, and that's the only thing it had going for it that made it stand out, for the fact that I even heard about it when I fucking never heard that there was a Home Alone 4 and 5. But I'm still fucking mad about this movie for that 100-year-old racist joke about Chinese ladies. I've had enough anti-Asian racism in the pandemic for my entire life already, so, you know, fuck off, movie. I don't need that. So, Home Sweet Home Alone, 2 out of 10. I do not recommend this movie. It just made me feel bad, sad. I don't know. I felt really awful for these poor people getting injured by this rich psycho kid. And I was just angry at this movie for how stupid it was and the low-key racism that, like, was in that one scene, but it was just too much, man. The only thing I can say good about it was it had some good actors in it, and they were at least trying to do something different with it. But, I don't know. If they're gonna do Home Alone as a horror movie, they might as well just do it as a horror movie at this point, because this was, like, a kid's horror movie, I guess, and it was just, like, kind of really sad in the end. So, yeah, I don't know. Home Alone's not supposed to be that sad. I just ended up feeling really bad, like, all the way through, especially since, like, it was a massive misunderstanding and it didn't even have to happen. Alright, anyway, I'm you, Buster Green, and I guess I'm, like, reviewing a few new bad Christmas movies this month. Go figure, it's Christmas. Alright, I'll be back with some more topical shit later. Have a Merry Christmas. Good night.